Today we're going to turn this monster can into this little alcohol stove. Alright guys, so what I'm going to show you today is how to take one of these monster cans with their little lid on top and turn it into one of these little alcohol stoves. It's kind of a neat project. I like the way it looked. I like the fact that you got this little easy place to load in your alcohol or whatever you're going to be using, seal it up, and it's ready to go. So the first step to doing this is we got to cut this can. Now again, I'm not measuring this down to an exact science. I'm kind of just eyeballing it. I'm going to take this here and just cut it big enough so that, and it is black so it's going to be hard to see, cut it big enough so that I get a nice even edge. Probably can't see it on the camera. And we're going to take an X-Acto knife, which of course I get all prepared and forget what the most important tool. Alright, we're going to take an X-Acto knife and I'm going to make a little bit of a plunge cut a little above where I did. And I just want to make a spot so I can cut this with a decent pair of scissors or shears right along the bottom. I've had this one for a couple of weeks because I've been trying to get this video done, but other stuff has gotten in the way beforehand. So you got it in half. Wow, that's still got, this stuff is like amazingly strong smelling. Still got stuff in it. All right, so I'm going to take this down to the line, okay, where I made my little line, and I'm going to try to get this a little bit longer than my line, because I want a little bit of a lip hanging off here, and I'll show you on the pre-made stove, that I can kind of flatten over. And what I did was I just took a big screwdriver and just kind of flattened it over like that. Kind of rounded the edges. I'm also going to use a little bit of JB Weld in here. I didn't on this one, but I think it might make it set up a little easier and quicker. And it's also going to be a little taller than this one too. So anyway, we're going to cut these down to the right shape and size, and we'll be back after that. So I got them cut down. You'll notice this is a little bit longer than this one. I'll still have to cut that down a little bit possibly, because you can't round the edge off too much. I'm going to proceed to sand the bottom, but before I do that, you want to make it so that it fits in the top easy. So what I like to do is just a very kind of light little bend around like this. Just kind of bend the edges in a little bit. You don't want to go too nuts because you're going to have to push all this flat once you push it into the upper part. So I just do that all the way around. Just a little bend. That'll make fitting it in here a whole lot easier. You want to save your middle section because you can cut yourself a piece really quick here and make sort of a, I guess the best way to describe it would be like a shoehorn. So when you get to that point and you get it in there, you can shoehorn it the rest of the way in using this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit the two together. I'm going to sand them off, fit the two together, and then we're going to put a little JB Weld on it, put them together, and go from there. So I kind of roughed it up. Again, I'm not sanding this for looks or aesthetics or anything. I'm just sanding it to rough it up for the JB Weld. I'm going to put a little bit around the outside. And again, this isn't to seal it. This isn't to really do much more than to make building it a little easier, to be honest with you. It holds together a little bit better for me. You could probably use crazy glue. You're not worried about this sticking once it gets hot. It's just easier. It doesn't push in when you're bending the edges around. It doesn't push in and become a pain in the neck, sort of. And we're going to put it in there. And also, too, you can flare out the bottom of your top part, so it's a little bit easier to slip in there. And of course, when I made the other one, it fit right in there. Now I'm on camera, and of course, it's not fitting in easily. But that's where your shoehorn comes in, and you just kind of push your way in there. Get it underneath, and push your way in. That last little one's going to be a pain in the neck. There we go. All right, so you gently push down on it. You don't want to go nuts and crush it. And once we have that pushed down enough, we'll come back and I'll show you how I bend the edge around. So we got it in there. And you'll notice there's a little bit of a lip. Actually, that lip is too big on that side. So I'll push it out a little bit. But you'll notice there's a little bit of a lip around the outside here that we're going to fold down into the metal on top. I want to get this a little bit further put in there. Tap it in a little. There we go. That looks about, and I'm just kind of eyeballing this. That looks about even. Yeah, that looks about right. Tap it down a little bit. Push down on that side. There you go. All right. So you got it about even. You're going to take your device, whatever you choose to use. I'm just using the end of a screwdriver. And you're just going to kind of run it over this. Go over it a few times. And if you find some of it isn't really sealing up nicely, you can cut it down a little bit more so there's not as much hanging over the edge. But I'm going to finish that up, and then I'm going to finish sanding everything and straighten this up a little bit because I smushed it down. And we'll go from there. All right, so I sanded off as much of the paint as I really could. I did manage to fix my little dented area there, but that's okay because we're going to be putting the holes down a little bit lower on this, so that won't really affect it. I just pushed too hard and crushed it, so we'll just put holes around it. It'll be fine. Something else I want to remind you to do is when you've made those little indentations on your bottom with your needle nose pliers, you want to go in there and push it all flat when you're done. As flat as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. And yeah, it'll be bumpy and lumpy. My other ones are like that too. They've got some bumps and lumps in them. They still work. Another thing to remember is to take out this plastic insert inside the cap. And it's kind of a rubberized plastic thing. You get that out of there. And another little trick that I found is if you sand the top here a little bit, lightly, just kind of without that cap, it will seal up better. Kind of seals up a little bit more positive because you have a little more grit there. So we're going to put the little, I'm going to show you where I'm putting them. I'm thinking about putting them down in this area here, all the way around, okay? And what I'm going to use to do that is some thumbtacks. You can use a needle, you can use thumbtacks, whatever works. Just a little thumbtack. Just take it and push it in the middle of the hole. It's pretty darn accurate, pretty darn exacting right where you need to be. So there you go, pushed right in. And same goes for that little hole there, right through it. So I'm going to go around and do the outside like that, and we'll come back and fire it up. And there's the finished product. You know, not pretty. I didn't really put time into making it perfect. You see the little holes that I poked in there? Okay. I've got a little priming stand here. This is the bottom of a can. I just cut it off evenly. So I just tossed some rubbing alcohol or whatever I'm going to be using in there. Put this in here, fill it up, and light it. And I also made a little stand for it too. I reinforced this stand. These things burn very hot. And I just basically brazed 2 pieces of copper tubing together from the old alcohol stove project. But just brazing them together wasn't enough and it melted. So I put some copper wire around it and made a kind of a sloppy quick braze around it like that. Anyway, there's your little stand. Now we're going to fire this up and see how it works. I've tried the other ones. They work very well. I've noticed they don't hold up well. This is one that I've burned a lot. I've tested this out. I've cooked some stuff on it. And they start to look rough after a while. They get a little brittle. I'm going to be using heat today instead of rubbing alcohol because I just find it burns better and cleaner. And you can light it from the top here if you want and just wait until it goes up and then toss that on there. It's a little more dangerous. So I'd say be safe and do it this way and use a priming tray. Now the hard part, to tell if it's lit in this light. There we go. We got it going now. Yeah, I think if you just tossed a match in there and let the fire do its job, you'd probably be better off. So anyway, let's go take a look under the other light. Let me turn the lights off so I can see it myself. Yeah, see? It's burning a little bit, and it'll prime in that. It'll heat up the alcohol. And once that catches and goes, we will bring you back and I'll put the stand up there and show you how it works. It's going hardcore. Now I do have a good deal of alcohol left in the priming tray. it's going to be burning off some of the plastics and the coatings. That's why you're getting a little bit of flame in the middle there from the Monster sticker that was on top. I scraped off as much as I could, but it really didn't get it all. And of course, the priming tray is still burning a little bit, but hey, it's working. And you can see the jets. So they burn really hot, and they burn for a good long time if you put enough stuff in them. Either alcohol or the heat works great. And they will boil water very quickly. And like I said, you know, they tend to get beat up after a while. Some of the older ones I have, they look pretty rough. But they still work, and, you know, they're a disposable item, essentially. I mean, if it gets crushed up or beat up, you saw I even had a little bit of a crush on the side of that one where it crushed up. I just bent it back out and made it work. So it's a pretty simple project, pretty easy to do, and you can even see with the light on how good of a flame we're getting out of that. We're getting a little out of the top. I don't think I screwed the cap down tight enough because the other ones don't do that. So other than that, that's the video for today. It's how you take a Monster can, make yourself a neat little alcohol stove. I didn't do a video on the stand because the stand was kind of an afterthought, and I use it for so many other things that I really didn't worry about it. But that's the Monster can alcohol stove. Thanks for watching.